Have you ever been sitting around with family members, remembering an event from the past, and suddenly their story veers from how you remember it? What's up with that? Who's really right about that? Who's wrong? What is the past? We're going to talk about that today on this episode of Udom. Everything we do is magic. You may have heard the old adage that the victors get to write history. And that's true to a certain extent, that the victors do get to be the ones who determine what goes into the quote unquote history books. But what about our memory? What about our individual past? How do we know what's real? How do we know what's not real? Well, the truth of the matter is that none of it is real. That it's all simply a story that we've told ourselves to justify where we are now. And in this present mindset, we've used the past as an alibi, maybe, or even as motivation to advance ourselves. But still, it's a path. It's a story that we've told ourselves that justifies where we are. And you may say, "What? But I really went through that." And yes, you really did, but it no longer exists. And now it's time to change the story. So here I go back again to the meditative practice, the practice of being present in the moment. I can't touch the past. The past can touch me, I guess, by me bringing forward the emotions that went with it. But beyond that, there's no basis in quote unquote reality to that. In fact, it's our ego, our desire to hide from who we truly are, our my father, my God, why have you forsaken me moment, where we realize the vastness of who we actually are, that desire not to be there for some reason or another keeps us focusing either 3 days into the future or 3 days behind, either 3 days in the future of planning and thinking what I've got to do, what I need to do, or thinking 3 days in the past with what I regret and ashamed of, and what I didn't do, what I failed to do, etc., etc. And that bracket in the center is the parentheses. That parentheses in the center is the present. That is the place of the between the breaths. That is the place of in your meditative practice when you're pausing your breath. That's the difference between the exhaling into the past and the inhaling into the future. That pause there, and that's the moment that we're in, and that's what we need to concentrate on. Now, how do we deal with those woundings, those pains? We change the emotion. We simply change our decision on how we're going to feel about that. I will no longer feel victimized. So it really is the key. Changing the way you feel about something can change it completely. So you, in rewriting your story, in rewriting your feelings about that story, in rewriting how that story motivates you or defeats you, in rewriting everything about that story, you're rewriting your present place as well. And it is as simple as that. The past are just ideas. It's all in our head. It's all made up. It's all a story. It's whatever story you have, that however similar it may be, again, to those family memories. Going back to my original question there, when you're there, it's because each person has an entirely unique perspective based on whatever it was they brought forward out of the chopped kitchen that they went into. And those who watch my videos understand what I mean about the chopped kitchen. Whatever ingredients have been brought forward in your story, that's your unique perspective, and it's going to differ at some point from every other. And the thing is, we need to release those differences. We need to release those differences, embrace those places where we are in agreement, and chalk everything up to a matter of perspective. But mainly, we have to change our mind about the past. It is as simple as that. The past is just a story. It's a story that we tell others to explain how we got here. It's a story we tell ourselves to explain how we got here. It's a story we tell ourselves to explain why we can do something or can't do something. It's a story we tell ourselves. And if we want to change our past, if we want to change our path forward, we need to change our story. To change our story to I am, not I was, not I will be, but I am. Speak to yourself about what you are in this present moment. That's the real story. That's the real you. Namaste.